everyone, my name is Sam and this is a back to the basics vinyasa flow. So that means that this class moves from one pose to the next. It is very much about breathing with the movement. If the breath doesn't sync up with you today, that's okay. You don't have to worry about the breath cues. And also, this is kind of an all levels sort of practice. It's not very super advanced, but you do have to take it at your own pace. So if something doesn't feel right, then you can modify a pose, take a different pose. Usually the more I cue, the harder everything gets. So keep that in mind. But this is a great sequence for beginners, or if you're not looking to do anything super crazy, but you need to warm up for your day and get all your joints lubricated and your breathing set. It really sets the tone for a day. So I hope you guys all enjoy this flow and you enjoy your quarantine. I know it's crazy, and yeah. Have a great day, everyone. I can't wait to see you on the other side. All right, we'll start standing. So feet are hip width distance. Bring your hips over your ankles and then your shoulders over your hips. Lengthen the back side of your neck so your chin tucks a little. Relax your shoulders and close your eyes. Practice balancing your weight between both feet and the front and back of your feet. And then take more intentional breaths. So full, easy inhales and exhales. Take a slow breath in through your nose. Let your rib cage expand and your belly flop out. When you get to the top, open your mouth, draw your belly button in, and then rib cage in, exhale. Inhale. One more. And then relax your breathing. Let your head drop in front between your shoulders. Let it get heavy and then rock your head from side to side in the front. Take it all the way around the back. Switch direction. And then the next time your chin gets to the center, stay there. Lift it up to neutral and open your eyes. Inhale, arms up overhead. Spread your fingers wide, stretch your hands up. When you exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart. One more time, arms up and hands down. This time, bring your arms up overhead. Your wrists are over your shoulders, and slide your shoulders onto your back so your shoulders go down away from your ears. Shift your weight to your heels and sit back into a chair. From here, lift your pubic bone up towards your belly button, which will tilt your tailbone down towards the mat, and then reach your hands up and back. Keep your shoulders down, look up. Come back up. Bring your arms down by your sides and shoulders come up towards your ears, forward and down. Roll your shoulders forward at your own pace. When you get to the front, hug your collarbones in towards one another. Spread your shoulder blades behind you. And then switch direction. This time when you go to the back, hug your shoulder blades together. Widen your collarbones. Now relax your shoulders, palms face forward, and then you're going to sweep your hands back, palms turn out, and reach them up, and circle forward. But you're going to imagine that you're moving through water or something thick, so there's some resistance. And again, when you get to the back side, squeeze your shoulder blades together, as if you're trying to touch the backs of your hands to one another. And then switch direction. Palms still face out. Scoop the water behind you. Bring it forward. And you can have a little bend in your knees. All right, relax your shoulders. And then lift your chest up. Widen your collarbones. Let your head drop back. Exhale, round your spine, tuck your chin in, bring your hips closer to your face. It's like a standing cat-cow. So you'll inhale to stick your tailbone out behind you, lift your chest. Exhale, round your spine, come forward. Move back and forth through this at your own pace. Come back up to center. Bring your arms back up overhead, palms face in, slide your shoulders down, weight to your heels, sit back in your chair. Turn your tailbone down towards the ground, look up, reach your hands up and back. Try to get your biceps by your ears, and then hug in your low rib cage, so it's not flaring completely out. Now turn to gaze forward, shift your weight to your left foot, come up with the right leg lifted. And here you can hold on to something. So if you have a shelf or a chair or a couch, anything like that, you can hold on to it with your left hand and circle your foot to the left, counterclockwise. Switch direction. And then lower your right foot out to the right side. So you have options. One is to have the ball of your foot down and your heel lifted. The other is to just point your toe out to the right side. So there's not a lot of weight in the right foot. Make a fist with your left hand. Grab the back of your wrist with your right. Bump your hips to the left. And then reach up and over to the right. So you're lifting the left side rib cage. And then come back up. Bring your palms together, lower your right foot down, take a breath. Inhale, arms up, palms face in, weight to your heels, chair, sit back. Look up, reach up and back. Your shoulders should be very warm by now. Shift your weight to your right foot, and then come up with the left knee lifted. When I'm balancing on one foot, I keep a micro bend in the bottom knee. So it's like a suspension. You know, if you have your knee completely straight, it's harder to control the balance. And again, you can hold on to something with the right hand this time, or keep the arms up. If your shoulders are too tired, bring your hands to your hips instead. and then circle counterclockwise with the left foot. Switch direction. Take your foot out to the left side, either ball of the foot down or big toe like grazing the ground. Fist with your right hand, back of the wrist with the left. Bump your hips to the right, reach up and over to the left. Lift your right side rib cage this time. You're looking for a side stretch, so it should feel like your ribs are spreading further apart. Come back up. Separate your hands, bring your palms together, lower your left foot down. Take a full round of breath. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Put a big bend in your knees to start. This is our first forward fold. And then shift your weight to the balls of your feet rather than your heels. See if you can get your torso to touch your thighs, the top of your thighs, so your belly will rest down, which might mean you have to take a big bend in the knees. That's okay. And then only lift your tailbone as far as you can get it with your torso still touching the tops of your thighs. Put a bend in your knees, a big one, and round up. This time, hands on your hips. Shift your weight to your left foot. And again, you can hold on with your left hand to something to help with balance, or point your right toes forward. And you're just going to swing the right leg back and forth. There's a little bend in the left knee. The next time your leg goes back, you're going to bring your knee up and over. So you're like churning something out here, maybe butter, with your left or your right knee. It's going in as big of a circle as you can get it to. And then switch direction. And this should challenge your balance too. Lower your right foot down, shift your weight to your right foot, and then left toes point forward. Little micro bend in the right knee, and swing your left foot back and forth. And so you're kind of leaning to the right a little so that your left foot has room out to the side. Your foot isn't hitting the ground. Next time your leg goes back, bring your knee up and forward. Big circle. And you can move as fast or slow as you would like with this. Switch direction. Lower your left foot down. Come back to center. Take an intentional breath. Full breath in. Full breath out. Remember, a huge part of this sequence is about kind of arriving back in your body and testing everything out, warming all the joints up. It's not so much to be as challenging as it can possibly be. Okay, soften your knees, inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. This time you can keep your legs more straight. If you need to put a bend, that's okay. Fingertips down to the mat. Shift your weight to the balls of your feet. With your next inhale, lift up halfway. Tuck your tailbone under, lengthen the crown of your head forward. The weight is still in the balls of your feet, the front of your feet. You can reach your hands down towards the mat or in towards your shins. On an exhale, soften your knees, bring your palms down to the mat, step back to a high plank. So you can be on your toes or on your knees for this. Once you step back, if you need to, lower the knees down. That's okay. We'll do quite a few of these. Spread your fingers evenly. So they're wide. And then press down with all 10 fingerprints and the base of your index fingers and thumbs. On an inhale, shift your weight to your hands, and then lower down halfway as you exhale. Hug your elbows into your sides. I know it's hard. Inhale. Exhale all the way down. Point your toes back behind you. Use your glutes. Press your hips down into the mat. Press down through the tops of your feet. And without using your hands yet, lift your upper body away from the mat. You can pick your hands up here, or at least you should be able to. Round your shoulders forward, lengthen the back side of your neck. Engage your glutes even more. See if you can lift up even higher. And then press down and forward through the heels of your palms. Start to straighten your arms. Lift your chest up. Widen your collarbones. Let your head drop back last. Cobra. With an exhale, lower all the way down. Tuck your toes under. Inhale, push up, high plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hips go up and back. You can have your heels lifted and your knees bent if the backs of your legs are tight. And just work your heels down towards the mat. But slide your shoulder blades onto your back. Widen your collarbones. Bring your ears between your biceps. And your gaze is either straight down at the mat or back at your toes. Tilt your tailbone up towards the ceiling. Shift your weight to your left foot, right leg high. Three-legged dog. With an exhale, round your spine, lift your back heel, hug your knee in towards your chest. Press down through your hands, lift the knee high, step your right foot forward, and slide your back foot in so you can lower your heel down. Keep the front knee bent, rise up, warrior one. So my heels are a little bit separated. There's a gap between them. They're not lined up. And then my back toes are turned out at a 45-ish degree angle, maybe a little less. Bring your left hip forward, right sit bone back to square your hips with the front of the mat. And then lift your hands up and back, lift your chest up, and tilt your tailbone down towards your back heel, your pubic bone up towards your belly button. As soon as you do this, as soon as you tilt your pelvis, your whole front body will start to work a lot harder. Keep the bend in your front knee. And then interlace your hands behind your back, look forward. Make a fist with your hands, lift the fist away from your tailbone. And then lean forward with your chest leading. Once you get there, round your spine, bow to the inside of your right leg, lift the fist up towards the ceiling or towards the front edge of the mat. But keep the weight off of your right leg, so you're not just resting onto your right leg. You're going to the inside of it. Lower your fist to your tailbone, lift up halfway, lower your fingertips down. Slide your left foot back. Left hand is down on the ground. If you need to, you can place books underneath your hand to give yourself more space between you and the ground. Right arm high, so twist towards the right. Press down through the ball of your back foot, lift your heel even higher, and try to turn the front of your right side rib cage up towards the ceiling. If you can, and still balance, look up at your right thumb. Lower your right hand down. Step back, high plank. On your toes or knees, inhale, weight to your hands, lift the space between your shoulder blades, let your hips lower, and exhale, lower halfway down. Hold your elbows in, inhale. Exhale all the way down. Point your toes back, press down through the tops of your feet. This time you're going to press down through your hands, lift your hips off of the mat, draw your hips in towards the insides of your wrists, lift your chest up, widen your collarbones, let your head drop back. Upward facing dog. On an exhale, lower down. Tuck your toes under. Inhale, push up. Exhale, downward facing dog. And remember, you can have your heels lifted or your knees bent. Tilt your tailbone up high and keep your shoulders away from your ears. Slide your shoulder blades onto your back. Shift your weight to your right leg, left leg lifts high. Three-legged dog. Keep your hips level and grip the mat with your fingerprints. Excuse me. And then shoulders over wrists, round your spine, knee to chest. Press down through your hands, lift your knee away from the ground. Step your left foot forward. Slide your right foot in enough for you to lower your heel down and rise up. So front knee is bent, back to warrior one. Your back toes point out to the side at a 45-ish degree angle. And then right hip forward, left hip back, arms reach up, lift your pubic bone towards your belly button so your hips tilt back. And then lift your chest up, reach up and back. Turn your gaze forward, hands behind your back, interlace them the way that you did not before, so probably the funny way, and then reach your fist away from your tailbone. Lean forward, lead with your chest. Once you get there and the weight is on your front foot mostly, you'll bow to the inside of the left leg. Fist reaches up towards the ceiling or towards the front edge of the mat. Remember, don't dump your weight onto the top of the left thigh. This is called humble warrior. Lower your fist down to your tailbone, lift up halfway. Fingertips come down to the floor, slide your right foot back so you're in a high lunge shape, and then your weight is going to go to your right hand. So if you need that book or a block or whatever you've got to give yourself more space, then put that under your right hand. Left arm high, twist. Same thing as before. Press down through the ball of the back foot. Lift your heel up even higher. And then try to turn the front of your left side rib cage up towards the ceiling. Maybe even look up at your left thumb. Lower your left hand down. Step back, high plank. This time inhale, weight to your hands. Exhale, lower halfway down. With your inhale, drop your hips down, point your toes back, up dog or cobra, your choice of back bend. Take a full round of breath here. And on your next exhale, engage your low belly, tuck your chin, lift your hips up and back. Flip your feet over at the end, downward facing dog. Weight to your left foot, right leg goes high. We're going for scorpion dog, so stack your right hip over your left, bend your knee, and lift your right knee away from your left heel. Press down through both hands, press down and away so that the weight shifts back towards your left foot.
And try to keep your shoulders level with the mat. It's okay if they twist some. Come back to three-legged dog. And then step your right foot forward. Warrior two. So your back heel turns towards the center edge of the mat. And then come up to shoulder height, or arms wide at shoulder height. I guess there's no center edge of the mat. The center line of the mat. Relax your shoulders once you get here. Line your front heel up with the back arch of your foot. And then reach your tailbone straight down towards the mat. So your pubic bone lifts. Keep the bend in your front knee. Flip over your right palm. Reverse warrior. Left hand goes straight down towards your left leg. Right arm up towards the ceiling and then back. So you're getting a stretch along the right side. Lift the right side rib cage. Keep the bend in the front knee. Don't lose the bend. Come back up to shoulder height. Straighten your front leg. If your feet feel really far apart, walk them in closer together. You don't want to feel like they're going to slide out from under you. And then bump your hips back behind you. Reach your right arm forward and tilt your arms. So your right hand can go down to your shin or to your yoga block or your makeshift yoga block or the floor. Or if you want a stronger variation, instead of so much stretch, you'll press the back of your right hand into the inside of your calf. And then wherever you've decided to go with this, you can keep your gaze down, or for more of a challenge, turn your gaze towards the side or up towards your left thumb. Press your feet down and away from one another. Rise up. Put a bend in your front knee and windmill your hands down to the floor. Square your hips, lower your back knee down. You want your legs to be hip width distance. Untuck your toes, keep your hips low, and then bring your hands to your hips. So crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana. And you have options. One is to keep your hands on your hips. The other is to have your hands on some sort of support, whether that's the couch, your yoga block, whatever you've got. And then the last one is to have your arms up. Wherever you go with your hands, hug your front and back leg towards one another using less than half of your effort. So just a little bit of engagement. And then try to sink your hips closer to the front heel without losing that engagement. If you want a deeper back bend, lift your pubic bone towards your belly button and then lift your chest up, reach your hands up and back. Bring your hands down to the floor, walk them back and straighten the front leg. So your left hip stays over the left knee. It does not go way back here. We're not sitting on our heel whatsoever. So I hope that none of you are doing this at home. Don't do that. You're robbing yourself of the stretch, which I know feels better right now, but you will get so much more out of it. If you keep the left hip over the left knee, you can always bend this front knee. That's okay. You can have a table next to you, like a coffee table or something to hold on to. You can have your hands on your hips, or you can bring your hands down to your blocks or the floor. Once you get to your shape, relax your foot and the back of your leg. So the goal here is to relax the muscles on the back of your right leg enough so that they want to stretch, so that they will actually get longer. If you go all the way to your maximum where you feel like you just can't handle it anymore, then what tends to happen is that the muscle seize up and they're like, nope, not gonna happen, not gonna do anything. So once you find your maximum, whatever that is, back away from it a little bit and try to relax and breathe through it. Once you get a little more comfortable, then you can go further into the stretch. That's how you get the most out of your stretching. And no matter what, remember that this is always going to be really uncomfortable, no matter how flexible you get. As long as you're doing this correctly for your body type, this will be uncomfortable. That's kind of the goal. In the best way, though. No pain, just discomfort. All right, from here, walk your hands forward, bend your front knee, and then plant your palms down, tuck your back toes under, and lift your hips up. Hug your right heel in towards your glute, and then lower your knee down to the mat. Turn your right toes towards your left wrist. We're coming into half pigeon. Slide the left leg back. Now, this is our setup. Stay upright for me if you can get into this. And if this doesn't work for you, then I'll go over an alternative in just a moment. Okay, if this is good for you, then you'll flex your right foot, press down through the outside edge of your right foot and through your shin. Point your left toes back, press down through both legs, and then hug them in together like scissors and try to lift your hips up like scissor legs. And lower down, then lift up and lower. One more time, lift and then lower. From here, relax the front foot. If you can, walk it forward and then fold over the front leg, either onto couch pillows or the floor, whatever you've got. Now, if this shape, so if you're in this and this is okay, stay there. If this shape does not work for you, if you end up looking kind of like this and it feels like it's cranking on your knee, I want you to come down to your back, right ankle to the top of the left thigh, hug the left thigh in like this. It's a figure 4 shape, same shape, just without gravity pressing down on your joints so hard. So that's where you'll go. And then we'll come back out of this. So press up onto your hands, tuck your back toes under, lift your hips up, step back to downward facing dog. Now you should notice the back of the right leg and the hip joint are much more mobile after all that stretching. Weight to your right foot, lift your left leg high, 3-legged dog, and then scorpion dog. Stack your left hip over your right, bend your knee, hug your heel in towards your glute, try to keep your shoulders level, and lift your left knee away from your right heel. Come back to 3-legged dog. Step your left foot forward. Warrior 2, right heel turns towards the center of the mat. Bring your arms up to shoulder height. Relax your shoulders and line your front heel up with the back arch of your foot. And if you bend this front knee and your knee goes way past the front ankle, then take it back. Either take a longer stance or come up out of it a bit. Flip over your left palm, reverse warrior. Right hand to the back of the right leg, left arm up and then back. Lift the left side rib cage. Keep the bend in the front knee. I know it wants to straighten. Come back up. Straighten the front leg. Bring your feet closer together if they feel like they're going to fly out from under you. And then bump your hips back behind you. Lean forward, reach forward with your left hand and tilt your arms. You're going to recreate whatever arms you did on the other side. So it can be back of the hand into the calf or palm down on something. Right arm is high, look up. Remember, this is a leg stretch as well as a twist. So turn right side rib cage, the front of it, up towards the ceiling. Keep lifting your right arm up. Press your feet down and away, come back up. Bend into the front knee. Windmill your hands down to the mat on Janayasana. Lower the back knee down, untuck your toes. Make sure that there's a gap between your two legs. And then hands to your hips. Feel it out. You want to stretch on the front of the right hip and no pinching in your low back. Reach your tailbone towards your back knee. Lift your pubic bone up and then hug your two legs together. Then lower your hips towards the front heel. And remember, you're only hugging them together using less than half of your effort. So it's not like this crazy tense thing. It's just to protect the stretch from dipping into an end range that's not strong. And you can have your hands on your hips or arms up. For a deeper back bend, keep lifting your pubic bone up, reach your chest up, lean back. Turn to face forward, lower your fingertips down, walk your hands back. Come into your half split, Hanumanasana or Ardha Hanumanasana. So you'll start with the front foot flexed, and then relax the foot and leg. And you can have your hands on something nearby to lift your chest away from the ground. You can have this front knee bent if it needs to be. And do not forget to keep this right hip over your right knee. It stays there. There's none of this. None of this. And if you're one of those bendy people, you can lower your palms down, walk your fingerprints in line with your heel, and bend your elbows back. So that is an option. It takes a very open hamstring and hip in order to get there. And low back. You'll feel this in your low back. It's a full stretch. Bend into the front knee. Walk your hands forward. Tuck your back toes under. Lift your hips up. Round your spine. Press down through your hands. Hug your heel in towards your glute, your left heel, and then lower your knee down. Turn your toes towards your right wrist and slide your right foot back. So pigeon. And if this does not work for you, do the figure 4 on your back, the way I showed you before. If you're in your pigeon, flex your left foot, press down through the outside edge of the foot and your shin, and press down through your back leg. Press them down, hug them in, scissor legs, lift your hips. And then lower down. And lift. For most people, this is pretty difficult. And lower. And then lift. Lower down. Relax your legs and fold forward. Either to the floor or your cushion, whatever you've got. Press it back up onto your hands, tuck your back toes under, step back to downward facing dog, and then walk your feet in towards your hands and come down to a seat. All right, from your seat, we're almost done. You'll bring your forearms down behind you, your knees are bent out in front. Slide your hips away from your hands and then lift your chest up, let your head drop back. You're looking for a shoulder stretch. Lower your chin to your chest. Walk up onto your hands, and then reach your arms forward, roll down onto your back, one vertebra at a time. Once you get down to your back, you'll walk your heels in towards your glutes, palms down by your sides. Engage your glutes and lift your hips, bridge. So you don't have to do anything super crazy or deep. If you do know how to do a full wheel pose, which is a full back bend, you can come into that. If you want to deepen your bridge, you'll press your heels forward and lift your hips up. Your heels won't actually move. You'll shift your weight to one shoulder, tuck the other underneath you. Do the same with the other shoulder. Make a fist with your hands and press down through that fist. Lift your chest up higher. And then as you inhale, imagine you were inflating a balloon on the front side of your body. You want it to expand both in the direction of your knees and your head and also up towards the ceiling. And then lower down. Once you get down to the ground, close your eyes. Take your arms out wide. You can have your elbows bent or arms straight, palms up. And then take your knees over to the right side. Turn your face to the left. If you want a deeper stretch, you'll cross your left knee over your right. Turn your face back up towards the ceiling. Bring your knees back up, feet down on the mat. Knees are wider than your hips, so are your feet. And then take your knees over to the left side. Turn your face to the right. And if you want that deeper twist, right knee crosses over the left. Try to keep the back of the right shoulder down on the mat. With each exhale, let your body get heavier. Relax your breathing, steady it. Bring your knees back up, turn your face to the ceiling, lower your feet down, and then you have options. So we're going into Savasana. If you get low back or sciatic pain, you'll keep your knees bent, feet wider than your hips, and let your knees rest on one another at the center. Otherwise, send your legs long. Let your toes flop out to the sides, palms up by your sides. Lengthen the back side of your neck. Bring your attention to your breath. And relax the muscles in your face, your eyebrows, eyes, jaw. Let your arms and legs get heavy. And your belly rise and fall with your breath. Remember that you are not your thoughts or your emotions. You are not even your actions. You are something so much greater. And regardless of what's going on around you physically right now, try to keep out the reactions that happen when you're living in your five senses. So whether it's sound, or sight, or touch, reject your senses right now. And just let yourself be on your mat or your floor, wherever you are, and appreciate being who you are right now. Now, if you can, I really encourage you to stay here for as long as is necessary for you to quiet down, to arrive back at a neutral place where you're just you. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, your week. I really appreciate you letting me into your home and streaming this live. Namaste.